Hello and welcome to the Decibel Boost podcast, the official music podcast of the website Surreal Resolution. I'm your host, Robert, who's very, very upset at that perfect regular show finale. Why does it have to end? And with me, I have...
Still recovering from the regular show finale 4 days later, Alex.
And...
doing storyboard, Mark.
As you can see, we're all on the same page. God, just what a fantastic finale.
Yeah, what a good way to end such a show that's been on the air for like 7 years or 6.
Over 6 years. Yeah, that's how you go out on a damn high note.
Yeah, that's on a beautiful high note.
That David Bowie song just clinched it.
Yeah.
Oh, it did. I knew something that was going to happen once the song played. I knew it would. Everyone in that sort of feeling.
Yeah. Jolly good show indeed. So, this week, news-wise and music-wise, has been extremely slow. Like, probably even slower than last week. So, to pad out the time, we're going to open this by starting off by talking about some of the albums we've been listening to recently. I'll let Alex go first.
Okay, well... recently I've been listening to the latest Pain of Salvation album, In the Passing Light of Day. I forgot the title for a minute. Yeah, I'm tired. I've had a long weekend. This album is a perfect return to form for Pain of Salvation. The band I've actually been following. I should have been following actually a long while ago, but I only got into them in my senior year of high school with the albums Perfect Element and Scarsick. And recently, some of their other work has been kind of interesting, I'll say. It's not as, aggressive and, quote-unquote metal as some of their earlier work, but like with the Road South albums, and I think there was an album they did of acoustic covers. But this album returned to form in grand fashion. And it has some stuff that makes me very happy, music-wise. It's all depressing, and it's all about death. You know what Steven Wilson said. Miserable music makes me happy. Happy music makes me fucking miserable.
Man knows what he's talking about.
I can attest to that. I'm the same way. Now, this album has a lot of really heavy, aggressive, low chugging 7-string guitar work. It's just, it'll blow out your speakers if you're not careful. So, listen responsibly, with caution, and with protection. Now, this album is bookended with a 10-minute opener and a 15-minute closer that both tie into each other. And everything plays out like it's a concept album in a way, but in a way not. It's not overtly, what's the word? Obvious that's been playing out as a concept album. But there are a lot of recurring themes. Mostly with the, I guess you could say, protagonist, the one telling this odyssey, if you will. There's a lot of themes about death, loss, longing, lament, regret, anger, all that kind of stuff. And it all builds to this crescendo and climax of the last song, The Passing Light of Day, which has this amazing lyrical highlight near the end of the song. We are all burning out, fading away like the passing light of day. We're all watching the colors turn gray in the passing light of day. We may wish we could run, just walk away from the passing light of day, but at some point we need to stop and say, it's okay. That, in a way, it's like the supposed character is admitting, this is the end, I'm ready to move on. And, oh boy, there's a part where, after that musical bit, where there's supposedly a character standing by this guy's side, his, what he says, lover and best friend, reprising some words from an earlier track, and the way it's all structured with the music and the delivery. It just about moved me to tears. It's that kind of haunting
nice.
beauty that I rarely find in music nowadays, but when I do find it, it makes it all the more powerful, to me anyway. This album does have a lot of emotion to it, and I can imagine a lot of this stems from Daniel Gildenlow, the frontman, singer, guitarist, writer of the band. His very unfortunate hospitalization a couple years ago.
Ew.
I forget what the illness he had, what it was that he had, but it left him bedridden in a hospital for months, I believe. It's kind of unfortunate because he missed out on a transatlantic tour with that band. But that's a story for another time. This album has everything I like about not just progressive metal, but this kind of progressive metal. It's very varied with its musical styles. There's a lot of heavy stuff. There's a lot of softer, more emotional stuff. And the lyrics just shine through, along with Daniel Gildenlow's vocal delivery. The stuff I like. I wish there was more, but then again I don't, because it makes this kind of stuff that much more special. So that's what I've been listening to. How about you guys?
Mark, you want to say?
Oh, yes, I do want to say something. I have listened to one album in particular. I've been listening to De La Soul, their album that came out last year, Ain't Not If Nobody, the one night for a Grammy, and I thought, because I've been meaning to check that for a while, and I listened to some tracks of it, like maybe one or two times, and I like the sound. I like the sonic feel of this album. Like, I do like how, like, for a band that's for a record that's been the one few rap groups that year that made a comeback album, alongside Tribe Called Quest. I'm like, oh, it's pretty like. It's a pretty solid album. It's like they got this signature like weird style of hip hop, but more into 2016. And then the sound's pretty good. Like you got some solid production, good hooks and features from Snoop Dogg, Estelle, Rock Marciano, and the album I heard was pretty good. And if by some reason this wins the Grammy, I would be mad. It's a solid album.
Very nice. Wait, Garnet's on that album?
Yep.
That's good to know.
Yep. On a song with them and Pete Rock.
I was unaware of that. And now I know. Anyway, as for me, I kind of been listening to a lot of stuff. Like, for those who don't know, I do this thing where I try to listen to at least one new, to me, album, like, every day or so. And so, for the past couple weeks, it's mostly been working through the discographies of Bjork and Flying Lotus. Yes.
Well, you are nothing if not diverse.
Well, to be fair, I have been meaning to check out Bjork for a while, because I know a friend of mine who's really into Bjork. I was like, I'm curious now. And she does have some pretty good albums. Probably my favorite of hers being, let me see the title here, Volta. Mostly because of a lot of the, like, orchestral elements that are worked into that album, as well as, various other types of styles. I'd almost say that Volta is, like, if you want a good cross-section of all of Bjork's influences and styles that she's covered across her career, Volta would be a pretty good place to listen. And, of course, Fly Low, man. Just, those beats are superb and fantastic.
Good old Fly Low.
Yep.
Yeah. If only he would just release a new album already.
Your Dead only came out a couple years ago. Be patient.
It came out 3 years ago. And we haven't even gotten an album from Captain Murphy yet.
Patience.
And yeah, I get that he's been busy with his directorial feature film, which, by the way, is premiering this Saturday at Sundance. And maybe after that we'll get something. I'm hoping.
Hopefully, time to fail.
Yes, good old Clouseau. It's funny because of reasons. So anyway, that basically covers all the stuff we've been, listening to this past week or so. So now let's jump into the new songs for this week. There will be a playlist down in the description where you can check out these songs for yourself as you're listening along, should you so choose. Now, starting off, one of the big new songs that came out this week is from shoegaze legend Slowdive, their first new track in over 20 years. It's a song called Roving from a new album which has yet to have a title or release date. Now, I checked out some Slowdive earlier. I like them. They have a very dreamy, depressive kind of shoegaze sound, and that comes through in this new song. You know, it's just intensely dreamy all across with the way, you know, the guitars and vocal melodies are just like layered and layered on top of each other, just enveloping and all encompassing. It's very beautiful sounding.
All right. This is my kind of ambient music. Shoegaze is a subgenre I really want to get more into because some stuff I've heard, mostly from guys like Steven Wilson and his various projects, and of course My Bloody Valentine. I like it. It's stuff I can get into. I can just sort of nod my head to and just gaze down, kind of like they do when they're performing it. That's a joke. One critique I would have to say about it is it's a little too repetitive with sections. Like, it feels like you can just loop it endlessly, and that's kind of a point of concern with me. I'm not really a big fan of, you know, constant repetition.
Well, to be fair, I think that's kind of the point, because like the way it repeats over and over, it kind of lulls you into a sort of delirious, dreamlike state. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Basically that.
But I do like, you know, a change up. That way, it keeps me invested and interested.
Fair enough.
Right.
Yeah, we agree it is a good song, and we'll keep you updated whenever that album drops. And speaking of, you know, alternative rock and albums coming out later this year, one of my favorite alternative rock bands has always been the group Minus the Bear. They're this past week announced that they're releasing a new album on March 3rd titled Voids, and they released the first single titled Invisible. Now, if you've never checked out Minus the Bear before, to use a familiar reference point, I'd say they're a more dynamic and interesting version of Kings of Leon.
Well, to be fair, that's not a hard feat to do.
Fair enough. The production is more dynamic with swaps between, like, you know, clean guitars and more, like, you know, saturated distortion. There's some interesting rhythm switch-ups between, like, you know, 4/4, 3/4, and there's these kind of, like, mathier, almost kind of math rock-esque kind of guitar leads. Again, it's a very weirdly soothing song, but soothing in a kind of a little bit of a depressive manner. But, you know, that's why I like Minus the Bear. They can encompass, like, a variety of moods, which is something that not a lot of alternative rock really does for me nowadays. So...
Right. I'm saying, right. This is the kind of indie rock I want to hear on the radio, because it's not too flashy, it's consistently steady, and it actually sounds good. So why can't I get more of this on the radio instead of friggin' Bastille and 21 Pilots?
Because people are dumb.
Apparently.
So it looks like if you want Minus the Bear, you're going to have to listen to your college radio and not, you know, big time radio. Just life.
Always keeping the good artists down.
Yep. It's like they say, even Crazy Diamond can't fix people's shit taste in everything.
Don't you say that?
Yes, I do say that. So, yeah, look forward to new Minus the Bear album, Voids, March 3rd. I'm looking forward to it. Now, up next, one of the more standout artists on the Top Dog Entertainment label recently has been the R&B singer SZA, who apparently has no association to anyone from the Wu-Tang Clan. She's released a handful of EPs, but only now has she announced her debut full-length Control. When that's coming out, we're not sure. And she released the first single, conspicuously titled Drew Barrymore, because... Shoulder shrug?
I guess so.
Oh!
Yeah,
I'm guessing,
you know,
I think... Yeah, I guess, like on the song, she kind of compares herself to her, like... I mean, because I know, I read a song that was about her poke one of her insecurities about herself. You know how, like, you compare to Barrymore, who many people kind of do that comparing stuff, who kind of like, oh, Barrymore looks like, a mom or some shit like that. At least that's what I've read from the lyrics. Anyway, listen to the song's production. It's like, all right, you got some simple soul guitar and a bit of strings. Like, okay, the sounds good. SZA does sound good on here, and like, all right, I kind of do like what she says on here, like especially the one verse where she speaks sarcastic, like, oh, I'm sorry I'm not this baby mama, I'm sorry I'm not your dream girl, I'm sorry I'm not your motherfucking fancy chick, like, and you're like, like fuck you motherfuckers, I don't give a shit. Song's pretty decent from when I heard of it. Like, I should probably start listening, see how good our album might be.
Yeah, I don't have much to say either, other than it's all right. It's not my favorite current R&B though, but it's all right for what it is. So yeah, Control, whenever that's out, we don't know, or do we? No, actually, we don't. Up next, I'm going to let Mark talk about this one because this is something he brought to our attention.
Okay, this track is from the artist called Porter Ray. Although I haven't heard much of that guy, but then again, the reason why I brought this to you because it features the Palacier of Shabazz Palaces.
In case you're wondering, I think the Palacier is supposed to be Ishmael Butler.
Or that. Yeah, him. Anyway, the song's called Sacred Geometry. Fucking sacred shit. and although apparently it's a constellation mix from what I listened to, it's like, alright, this will sound like the beat does sound good. This song's something I would hear Shabazz Palace. I would hear some from Shabazz Palaces, even though this from the same label, Sub Pop.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that label. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, the beat's really nice. The Porter Ray guy, he spit a pretty good verse, and there's another guy on there whose name escapes me. Sorry if you listen to this. Hold on, I know you are. Just or you're not. But yeah, you good too. And of course, yes, I really do. I really dig what Ishmael Butler brings on the mic. Maybe I'm going to see. Maybe he might drop some more stuff later on. Hopefully, maybe. I don't know. Check the door.
Yeah, I mean, we know. According to what I found, Porter Ray's debut album, apparently Watercolor, comes out March 10th. And I thought the song was alright. It kind of sounded like Shabazz Palaces with trap beats. And anything with Shabazz Palaces people on is always a good thing. Trust me, I know. I've seen Shabazz live before.
I know.
And I rubbed it in Mark's face because I got a picture with Ishmael.
Thanks. Oh.
And now, last but not least, probably the, I guess, highest profile song in terms of how much hype it would drum up. Remember, I don't know how many episodes this was ago, maybe like a month or two, we reported on a rumor that Skrillex had reunited with and recorded some vocals for a song with his old emo act from First to Last.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
And, it may have seemed sketchy because it was just like a blurry studio video from Instagram, but I assumed it was legitimate, and as it turns out, I was right. Because From First to Last, in the past week, had released a new track called Make War, which features Skrillex, or I guess we should call him Sonny Moore to be more accurate at this point, doing the vocals. It's like second Christmas for the Hot Topic crowd.
Yes, people, Skrillex can sing.
This sounds like he was back from, seriously, 2006. If you've heard one from First to Last song or one song from any band like this, you've heard of all, so I'm not really sure what I can say here that would elaborate on it or sound interesting.
All right. Now, from first to last, they're a group that's always been in the back of my mind, since ever, but I've never really felt inclined to actively go out of my way to listen to them, even with Spencer Tatello fronting the band for a while.
Oh yeah, that was the thing that happened at one point.
Yeah, that was the thing. But this track is alright. I mean, it's not terrible. It's perfectly average. I'm not a fan of those sampled drums, though. They just sound too electronic for my taste.
Let me guess, was this produced by Joey Sturgis?
I actually don't know.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if it was. Those synthetic drums. You could feel Glenn Fricker glaring in the background.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I think maybe 12-year-old me would love this song, but I'm not 12 anymore. I'm more like 15.
Yep, you sure are.
After all, I still think Filthy Frank is funny. By the way, go buy Pink Season on iTunes. Cooking all the dope links? Cooking all the dope links?
Yeah. It's amazing how that album actually charted on the Billboard 200.
Yes, it did. And who knows how much higher it could climb from there.
Mm-hmm.
And that covers all the new music. As far as news topics, that we literally only found 2 of note, because things really are like that slow this week.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
damn.
First off, let's start with the painful news.
Fuck me.
This Friday will be the inauguration of America's 45th president, Senor Fuckface Von Clownshoe.
Yeah, him.
And the day before that will, of course, be the annual presidential pre-inauguration, concert thing. Something I'm sure the past few presidents have done, or I think just Barack Obama. Now, whereas Barack was able to get all kinds of big name, pop stars and rappers of, mainstream relevance, Trump has hilariously had to scramble for anything he could dig up. And, oh my god, just... oh, jeez. Okay, the current...
They don't want no part of this shit.
The current set headliner for his inauguration party is 3 Doors Down. A band that was relevant about 15 years ago. If at all.
Not just that, but let's look at some of the other acts that are going to be showing up. We have the Piano Guys. No idea who the hell they are. DJ Ravi Drums, a.k.a. the Wii Music Guy from that one E3 conference.
Okay.
Man, Nintendo's just not been having the best week, have they?
Yeah. And there's apparently going to be another event, or the same event, I don't know, I can't read it very well right now, but they're going to have, in place of the real Bruce Springsteen, who decided, yeah, you know what, I'm not going to risk career suicide by attending this asshole's party, the B Street Band, America's #1 Bruce Springsteen tribute band.
Oh, dude, not even that. Did you hear the B Street Band had to pull out?
Oh, really?
Yeah. They couldn't even get a Bruce Springsteen tribute act to play the inauguration.
Wow.
Now, I think they said it was due to, maybe legal issues. Like, they were hoping not to get sued by the E Street Band. But
yeah, probably.
We all know that it was just because, even they have more dignity than to perform at this.
Yeah.
No major artist wants to be a part of this shit.
Except Toby Keith, for reasons.
Well, that's expected. Of course, they ain't gonna do this shit.
I wouldn't be surprised if Ted Nugent just showed up and just said, things I can't repeat on the air.
Oh boy, because Ted Nugent is always worth listening to. I totally don't shoot the stereo when Cat Scratch Fever comes on.
God.
Let's be real. We only had one good song, and it's without a whole lot of singing.
Gee, I wonder why it's good then.
Yeah, that's why Stranglehold is great. It only has another guy singing.
Yep. So, by the time you hear this episode, that concert will most likely have already gone down. So, maybe next week's episode will laugh at the insanity of it.
Yeah. And as for right now, don't watch The Inauguration. Go watch Voltron Season 2 on Netflix instead.
Yes, watch that shit.
Well, I have to get through Series of Unfortunate Events first. I'm only like 2 episodes in.
Yes, another good one. Another good show worth watching on Friday. Or anytime.
It's okay so far. I still think I prefer Jim Carrey as Count Olaf over Neil Patrick Harris.
You're the only one.
Well, I have reasons, okay? Maybe I'll elaborate on those some other time, some other place. You know, speaking of nostalgia, the only other news article for this week, we all love ourselves some Beavis and Butthead, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
It was recently announced that the show will be releasing a sort of complete collection DVD set on Valentine's Day. Yeah, that's right, DVD, not Blu-ray, for some reason.
Because it wasn't produced in high definition, that's why.
That's no excuse. Anyway, with this, and when they say complete collection, they really do mean it. Because let's go over what's, in this DVD set in comparison to the Mike Judge collection, which didn't have, much on it. It did have every episode of the show, though. But anyway, Beavis and Butthead, the complete collection, coming out on Valentine's Day. It's a 12 DVD set, which includes all 3 volumes of the show's original one, a 4th volume of the 2011 revival, which, let's be honest, was a lot better than I'm sure most of us thought it was. Though, again, I guess that's just me, though.
Yeah. It was okay, but it needed more music videos and not MTV show clips.
Yeah, but then again, it'd be hard to consider in the era when they don't play them shits anymore. Or that much.
There's a collector's edition of the theatrical film Beavis and Butthead Do America. It'll feature the duo's appearances at the MTV Video Music Awards, Thanksgiving specials, the uncut version of the original pilot Frog Baseball, and significantly more footage, adding up to a whopping 18 hours. Now, the important, if there's one stipulation here, it's that while it says complete collection, we don't actually know if it's going to include the music videos, because the Mike Judge collection did not have those videos due to copyright reasons, and we don't know if maybe they cleared those off by this point, but man, that would be disappointing. You need those music videos. It's not Beavis and Butthead without it.
You do. Right. You need the videos to make the episodes complete. And going back to what you said about the VMA appearances, I hope that means we get the skit with David Letterman, because that was awesome.
Yes, it was. Now, there's always a chance it could, theoretically. Although, it kind of pisses me off when shows have to, do that. Because if I may go off on a tangent for a minute, it's always pissed me off that the only season of Malcolm in the Middle that exists on DVD is the first one, and the other seasons have not been released on DVD for basically the same, copyright issues about all the licensed music, although for some reason, the last I checked, the entirety of the series was on Netflix with every episode. So what the hell?
In high definition.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure all the music stayed there, so what? They can license it out to Netflix but not for home video? What the shit?
Look, I learned about all this kind of stuff in school. Music licensing is a frigging pain to deal with. Some rights get cleared, other rights don't. DVD rights, streaming rights, it's just a big mess.
Oh yeah, I think I heard I know that same music license shit happened in Scrubs, because I know it's I wasn't on Netflix before, and I know when I was on TV, some different songs that I played before. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, it's a real pain to deal with.
It makes no sense.
Nothing makes sense anymore. I don't know. That thing makes sense.
No, it does not. And so, that basically covers all the news songs and news topics. We're going to go on a little bit of a break, but when we come back, we're going to have a little discussion about the future and the rest of this year. So, see you then, kiddies. And we're back. So, because things are, once again, pretty slim pickings this week, we decided to take a little bit of time, since it's still pretty early in the year, to look forward to the future. For this segment, we're going to be, chatting for a little bit about what some of our most anticipated albums of 2017 are. And I'm going to go first here just to kick things off. I'm sure I speak for me and Alex when I say we are both looking forward to the eventual release of Galacticon 2 from Brendan Small.
Oh my god, yes. I'm so ready for this.
It's got to drop sometime, but it better be this year. I mean, it's not like he's doing anything else. Adult Swim kind of screwed him out of Army of the Doomstar.
Yeah. Well, we know they're working on it right now, so it's all just a big old friggin' waiting game.
But it's going to be so good when it comes out. I mean, he's even said in interviews that it's basically the next Death Clock album in terms of its style.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got
happy for it. I'm so excited for it.
You got that Gene Hoglan drumming and everything. You got him doing those deep growls. And I assume some clean vocals too, because, But it's going to be all good.
Oh, man, I'm so ready for it. Hurry up, Brendan.
Anyway, moving on. This one's actually coming out next month, I believe. Yeah, February 24th. And it's one of my most anticipated debuts of the year from the band Crystal Fairy, which I've spoken about in an episode prior. They're the supergroup that comprises of two guys from the Melvins, a member of At the Drive-In, and the vocalist Terry Genderbender of Les Butcherettes, this really good New Mexican punk rock band. And listening to the song they released, it's that kind of southern fried hard rock a la, really good Queens of the Stone Age material. And I have a certain affectionate soft spot for stuff like that, man? Just making you feel like it's like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, except for the part where you have to take 1 million illegal drugs to do it. Is that what happens in that movie? I don't know. I haven't actually seen it.
I couldn't tell you.
I know it's drugs. Or I think drugs happen.
Yes. Either way, we know it has drugs. So, yeah, that's probably going to be a fun album to look forward to. Always fun to see, musicians team up in weird combinations for shit. And speaking of Queens of the Stone Age type influences, actual Queens of the Stone Age, who announced recently, or rather it was let slip in an interview with one of the dudes from Mastodon, that they've got a new album that they've been prepping for the year 2017. And, I think it's been about long enough. Their last album, Like Clockwork, was 4 years ago, I want to say. But, Queens of the Stone Age, they've been one of my favorite bands ever since Era Vulgaris first came out. Or I guess rather ever since I first heard them in a game of Guitar Hero. Yeah, it's amazing how much my taste is rooted in those freaking games. But anyway, Queens of the Stone Age have always been pretty consistently excellent. Always, keeping that southern fried rock sound while switching things up every now and then on each album. Shit, they're in the top 10 of my favorite bands of all time. They're just that good. And they've never let me down before, and I hope this new album will be, no different. Speaking of bands that usually never let me down, I also think we're about due for a new Cannibal Corpse release. Because I know the last one was, I believe, 2014 or 2015. Yeah, 2014. And, Cannibal Corpse is the old reliable, the death metal scene. While things may not vary much from album to album, you can always rely on, extremely heavy songwriting and just, assaulting you full force with just everything from the pounding drums, the chaotic bass riffs, and, the man with no neck who bellows like no one's business.
Ah, yes, Mr. Corpse Grinder himself.
Seriously, how the hell does he turn his head with all that, he really has no space in there. One of the best metal vocalists and one of the biggest geeks in all of metal-dom. I'm not even kidding. If you want proof of that, go watch the Cannibal Corpse Centuries of Torment documentary. Every time you see an interview with Corpse Grinder, you see all kinds of nerd shit. And if you look on one of the shelves, you can find action figures of pretty much the entire cast of Final Fantasy X. That's the kind of geekery we're dealing with here.
Oh, Final Fantasy X. Well, I suppose it's better than Final Fantasy 13.
Anything's better than Final Fantasy 13.
A lobotomy's better than Final Fantasy 13.
That reminds me, I need to start Final Fantasy 15. So yeah, getting back on track, Cannibal Corpse, that should be fun. They're always fun. And speaking of big name, ultra mega hype shit, have we mentioned that System of a Down might have something for 2017?
Yay!
Yes, the much hyped return of the only alternative metal band that you're still allowed to like from your teen years. And you especially know with the way, how fucked shit's been this past couple of years, politically speaking, it's going to be amazing.
It cannot be anything less.
So good. Seriously, I've been waiting this album for 10 fucking years at this point.
We're ready for that vitriol to come back.
Here's hoping it drops before whenever the new Tool album is.
Yeah, the new Tool album.
That's never coming out, is it?
It'll come out when Half-Life 3 and Kingdom Hearts 3 come out. Never!
Actually, it'll come out when someone finally decides to buy Tidal. And speaking of hype, and speaking of favorite bands of all time, there's a new Mastodon album due out sometime this year in the pipeline.
Oh, yeah.
Now, of course, Mastodon's a band that's very important to me, because Crack the Sky was basically the soundtrack of my high school experience, alongside Slipknot's Iowa and, Era Vulgaris from Queens of the Stone Age. Those albums were just perfect in every single way. And I'll admit, I didn't like Once More Around the Sun as much as everyone else did. Okay, I think it's weird that when it comes to Mastodon albums, everyone assumes that The Hunter is, quote, the bad one. Come on, at least that album actually sounds like Mastodon. Whereas Once More Around the Sun just kind of sounded like an okay knockoff of Baroness. That's kind of bad to say, because I really can't get into Baroness at all.
Well, differing opinions and all that kind of crap.
Yes, differing opinions, but mine is correct, and you were all wrong. Listen to me.
Yeah. Well, should this come out later this year, that means I'll still have only one Mastodon album I don't have on vinyl, which is Remission. I have every other album on vinyl, and they're the colored vinyl, too.
Very nice.
Yeah, I am a collector.
Yeah, there's that. I'm just hoping it's better than Once More Around the Sun. I hope it brings back some actual, metal to it. If nothing else, we at least know that when they eventually drop an Adult Swim single, which is going to happen, that's probably going to be pretty killer. Moving on, there's been some swirling around the pipeline that the progressive metal act Ne Obliviscaris are working on a new album, which that would absolutely tickle my fancy, because their last album, Citadel, was in retrospect, I only had it at number 2 for my favorite albums of 2014, but in retrospect, it's number 1. This is, for me, like Crack the Sky, should be one of the essential golden benchmarks by which all progressive metal must be judged. It is just fantastic, complexly written, completely uncompromising in its musical vision, presenting just these gorgeous and heavy and just all-encompassing, musical odysseys. Seriously, this band are fucking great, and that when their next album drops, it is not going to be small potatoes. It's going to be, thoroughly good shit.
Well, I'll keep that in mind then. Trying to get down, okay.
Wait, have you never listened to Ne Obliviscaris?
I haven't listened to a lot of bands. I have a big backlog to get through.
Okay, well, screw your backlog. Put this on top number 1 priority, Citadel.
Okay, then.
And last but not least, I assume this is coming out this year. I mean, it should come out this year, sooner rather than later. The recently resurrected pop group Gorillaz, aka the people who saved pop music back in 2005.
Yes, I've been hearing news about them coming back. I'm like, because keep on reading about, are they coming to do something? Like, I really hope this happens. I really hope so.
Well, I mean, there's been, they've been releasing, animated videos of all, the band members, 2D and Noodles and all that. Yeah. So, it's coming. It's coming. And, when it happens, I swear to God, if the new Gorillaz album comes out and it tanks, I'm going to lose all faith in the music world. Because these were the guys who saved pop music from becoming a hellhole in 2005, which, need I remind you, was the same year that gave us Holla Back Girl and American Idiot.
Let's never talk about 2005 in pop music. Ever.
Exactly. And if you want to know why you shouldn't, go to Ben at the Sage's website and watch that video about the top 20 worst number one hits. I still rewatch that video with quite a lot of frequency.
D4L. What was wrong with you?
But yeah, those are just a handful of the albums that I'm looking forward to next year. So who else go next?
I'll go next because we have pretty much the same albums on our list, like New System of a Down, New Tool, New Gorillaz, New Mastodon. I'm also looking forward to a few other things. Firstly, the LP-produced Zack De La Rocha solo album.
Oh shit, I forgot about that.
Oh.
Yeah. We know it's supposedly going to come out later this year, and if that first solo track we heard a while ago and those 2 Run the Jewels tracks he was on are proof of what this is going to be like, oh, mama, I'm ready.
Very nice.
But so going from one end to another, the rest is going to be mostly prog stuff. There's a new album coming out next month from Blackfield, the sort of joint band between Steven Wilson and one of his longtime music partners, Aviv Geffen. Now, Steven Wilson was poised to leave the group after 2014 to focus more on his solo outings, but apparently he came back to work on Blackfield 5 alongside Aviv Geffen, and I'm ready for this. If what I've seen so far, like the making ofs, all that kind of stuff, is to be true, this will be like the Blackfields from when it first started, where it was truly a dual union of Steven and Aviv working together, and not just Aviv Geffen taking the bulk of the workload. And it's actually going to be coming out on February 10th, so I won't have a whole lot, not a whole lot, I won't have a whole long to wait. God, what's wrong with me tonight?
Yeah.
And speaking of Steven Wilson, I think we're just about due for a new Steven Wilson solo album in the next year or so. He's already shared some behind the scenes stuff that he's working on a new album with his usual group of musicians that he always goes to for his solo outings. And I'm interested to see where he goes from here after A Hand Cannot Erase. Because I really don't know what he's going to do next. He could do pretty much anything at this point. He's done noise and shoegaze, like on Insurgentes. He's done a more straightforward progressive rock kind of stuff with a little bit of jazz fusion in Grace for Drowning. 70s prog in the Raven That Refuses to Sing. Which, by the way, that title track is the saddest song I've ever heard.
Is it a D minor?
I don't get the joke, but whatever. And then we have Hand Cannot Erase, which was a really cool blend of progressive rock with pop and rock. So I don't know what he's going to do for his next solo album, but either way, I'm excited to see and hear what's going to be coming next.
And to explain my joke here, in the ever so classic This Is Spinal Tap, there is a joke in which D minor is referenced as the saddest of all music key signatures.
Eh.
And wait, Alex, you don't know Spinal Tap? What's wrong with you?
I know Spinal Tap, it doesn't work with the song I was mentioning.
Bastard.
Yeah, well, so that's my list. Not a whole lot, but, I'm just going by what has been announced or alluded to, as of right now.
All right, cool. So now we throw it over to Mark to wrap this up here.
Yeah, and now my list, there isn't really much on this because with me, with hip hop, I think there is it's more of a they announce the shit, drop it in. I don't know whether it'll drop or not because there's some projects I'm looking forward to that haven't been released yet. Doom Starks.
It's gotta happen soon.
It should, or anything from Madvillain because they have dropped their completed version of that song Avalanche, which is like I didn't even know that song was completed, or it was, but yeah, anything from either those group of guys I want to hear something from them because this year because it's been long overdue, or at least they're gonna have something on there, at least something for this year. Of course, another one that hopefully I hope drops some this year. Flying Lotus or anything Captain Murphy. I said it earlier, even though he's busy with Mona's film Kuso and all that shit. And okay, I know he might drop something on the single endorsement single this year if that happens, which I bet it will happen because Adult Swim and they type like that and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm hoping that shit comes out. That shit I always know that as well. Like the four Gorillas before the album. I heard it's gonna be another Schoolboy Q album coming this year, which I thought I would take a break or something because he released Blank Face LP last year, and I was wondering now that's a good album from him, and I'll be interested to see what happens to him next because I know with Top Dog, I know Kendrick. They gonna be an EP or they might be an EP or some shit. I don't know. I mean, Kendrick did drop Pimp Butterfly 2015 and then drop his Untitled Master the next year. Yep. Could be something like that as far as I know. Oh, I am trying to look more into the Top Dog people this year. I want to look more to people like J-Rock and Isaiah Rashad and of course SZA. I would look at the Lance Skywalker, but I heard his album that last year was not that good. Anyway, more stuff I want. Okay, another one I'm quite interested in. Pusha T and his upcoming album, or hope to come soon, King Push, because he had released his prelude album, Dogs Before Dawn, which was 2015. That came out like the tail end of that year, and I thought, this sounds pretty good. I mean, I like Pusha T as I think he's one of the few artists of good music that I kind of actually interests me a bit. And I honestly honestly, it does seem like somebody whose style of music I can actually get into a lot more than most of the other artists in there. Another one, Freddie Gibbs. I know 2016 was not his year because of some legal shit that his ass got into, but now he's out. And he did drop something last year. Although I keep hearing he did announce he would do another Madlib project with him called Bandana. I don't know. I'm hoping he'll drop some EPs or something like that. I want to hear something from that guy or any of that guy. I do want to hear more stuff from him. Another one. Denzel Curry, an artist I said whose album mixtape Imperial that I said I liked last year. I think might drop with a official album this year. And I think, okay, if he did, okay, I'm looking forward to that. I do like hearing this guy. Who else? Okay, I got, I think, two more. I'll just play Never. I hope you hear shit from him. I heard LCD Sound System might drop something this year.
Yeah.
I heard of.
Now that they got back together and they've been playing some festivals, I think they've been recording stuff. And if they are, then it's probably coming out sometime before the year's over, I think.
Oh, all right then. Okay, yeah, looking forward to that. And I have one last one. One called the Chromatics. You heard them from that one song you heard from Drive and that other song that was on the 2015 Adult Swim singles list.
Oh yeah, so, and we've been still waiting on Dear Tommy for fuck knows how long at this point.
I'll hear something from them this year. I hope to have to hear something from this year because,
and that album better come out.
Yeah, I hope so. But yeah, that's my list. My list of I hope this shit happens or not, which no good chance. One may not, or two. Well, fuck it. I'm hoping. Right.
Well, you never know. The year could surprise us.
Yeah. That's true. Would have probably got a Tribe Called Quest album last year.
I mean, who knows? Maybe Ghostface Killah will go to your house and hand deliver a signed copy of Doomstarks.
That'd be sweet. That'd be great. I like that.
Wouldn't we all? So, that covers the stuff we're looking forward to in the upcoming year. So now, just to round things out, we're going to talk about the new album releases for January 20th, 2017, which there's literally only 3 if you want to know how slow of a week this is. Unless you... Well, okay, 4 if you give a shit about Jacob Sartorius, which, let's be honest, none of you give a shit about Jacob Sartorius.
Oh no.
So, we have the newest self-titled album from the band AFI, also colloquially known as the Blood Album. Edgy.
Okay.
The newest album from indie rock act Cherry Glazer, titled Apocalyptic. And this one's technically coming out on Wednesday, but I just had to mention it here because it's from one of my favorite synthwave producers. The producer that actually got me into the genre, Laserhawk, with his newest release, Dreamwriter. And if you want to know Laserhawk, you've probably heard him before. Just look up the Toonami promo for Space Dandy.
Oh, what a great promo that was, too.
Oh, shit, that was... Oh, yeah.
King of the streets, man. That's my jam. This kind of thing that makes you feel like a badass when you're driving down the city streets on a Saturday night with your shades on and your black jacket, because it's still the 1980s.
Yeah, it's cruising down your Camaro convertible, going 60 miles an hour down the main road, got a 12-pack of beer in the passenger seat, and you're ready to go and party all night long.
Fucking neon. All the streets are neon.
This is true. Although that may just be because of the Taco Bell. Jokes. So, that'll do it for this week's episode of the Decibel Boost podcast. This is the part where we like to sign out, let you know where you can find us all on the internets. So, Alex, where can they find you?
I'm sure they all know, but I'll repeat it anyway. Aura of Azure. You can see the link on the screen, so yeah, there you go.
Yep. Mark, what about you?
As usual, Matt2 Hybrid Media on Twitter, talking that shit. And of course, on my own site, the Man the Hybrid One at thehybrid1.wordpress.com. And I need to review something this coming week, because damn, I ain't done an interview since last month.
Well, I mean, to be fair, you have been busy with your whole time of the season thing for all the dank-ass animes out there.
Oh, yeah, that, and actually write my next story. I do a lot of projects.
Man, there's barely shit coming out this season that's worth watching. Just, there's Akka.
Boy.
Like, the only one really interesting is Akka, and that's it.
Yeah, we're going to wait a while for Little Witch Academia. Thanks, Netflix.
Damn it.
And if we do get Vento Oreo anime this year, it's probably not going to be until the last quarter. Anyway, as for me, you can find me on Twitter at Rob Barracuda, as Instagram at Rob Barracuda. Fuck Ask FM. I'm not bothering with that shit anymore. It's freaking phone cancer. And of course on YouTube at Rob Barracuda, which is where you're likely listening to this podcast right now. While you're there, be sure to hit the subscribe button and click the bell notification so you can always be immediately notified whenever new episodes of the podcast go up. And of course, this is the official music podcast of the website Surreal Resolution, which you can find online at www.surrealresolution.com. Find the podcast on its own subdomain, decibelboost.surrealresolution.com, and follow on Twitter at SurrealRezo. While you're there, listen to our podcast, as well as our gaming podcast, The Training Stage, in which our friends Tyler, Joey, and John give you all the goings-on of everything in the video game industry. In fact, pretty soon they should be, well, currently I believe they're still doing voting on the annual Training Stage Game of the Year Awards. First ever! Woo!
Woohoo!
So, you can get in there, vote for that shit, and, listen to them when they announce the awards.
Yep.
And while you're on the site, be sure to check out a lot of the written content. We've got reviews of music, animes, movies, although we're hoping to get more movie stuff sometime in the near future. In fact, Alex, I believe, is going to start up weekly reviews of Blue Exorcist Kyoto Saga.
Yes, by the time you're listening to this, you should be seeing my impressions on the first 2 episodes.
Yeah, so look forward to that. And If I gotta check with Tyler still, but there's a chance I may be covering Aka. 13 Territory Inspection something.
Good choice.
It's basically the only show I'm interested in this season, only because it's directed from the same guy who directed One Punch Man and Space Dandy.
Yep. It's going to be a long winter before we get into the good spring stuff.
Yeah.
Yep. Also, while you're on the site, be sure to jump into the Discord chat so you can talk with us about whatever your heart desires. Or just shitpost memes. I don't know, I'm not your mom. You know, you can talk with me and Alex about how much Pink Season makes you want to kill yourself.
Because you're weak!
Cooking all the dumplings, man. Shut the fuck up. I'm telling you, man, it's a classic album. Just 11 out of 10. And of course, as always, shout out to the producer, Mr. E, for graciously letting me use his music for this podcast. Links to all his shit down in the description. Well, that'll do it for this week's episode. We'll, of course, see you next week, where hopefully we'll have something to talk about. So, until then, I really need some Panda Express right now.